what's happened in the last video.
That was a thing.
And here is more MrDudeManSir.
You know, you were kinda just a bit different than last time we met, Kyoji says sarcastically, following Ryoko as she moved cautiously down the tunnel with her light leading the way. This isn't the hospital, and you're not my patient. This service doesn't come with a smile. So this is who you really are. I wonder, does it really matter? Well, no, you saved them from a death that was about to occur, so you can do your thing and have your motives. You can do that. Ryoko suddenly stops and stares at the floor. When Kyoji looks over her shoulder, he sees a dust-covered rope lying coiled up in the middle of the path. What is it? Something left behind from the last guy who came down that well. Ryoko picks up the rope, examines it, and hands it to Kyoji. It's about twice as long as my rope. It has a knot in it, and both ends have been severed. They were connected before, making it a circle. What? You loop one end of the circle around something topside, then use the rest to climb down into the well. When you're at the bottom, you can cut the circle open and pull the rope in with you, leaving behind no trace of your descent. I will keep that in mind for future references for when I jump down in a well to go down a secret passageway. I'll remember that. Ryoko shines her light down the tunnel, revealing that it ends in a closed wooden door about 10 meters ahead. That's how we avoided detection after hiding here. You really got me good. Doctor, you said you've been here before, right? Yeah, you and Saisaka aren't the only ones. Ryoko says dryly. I checked out Ougai's cabin a while back. Oh, you have a shotgun. You look like some sort of, action protagonist. You're gonna go on a rampage. As Ryoko speaks, she opens her coat and pulls out something that she's been hanging underneath it. It's a double-barrel sawed-off shotgun. If there aren't any other exits, then he's still behind that door. Oh, whoa, wow. Wow. We found him. At first, Kyoji thinks that she is holding a steel pipe. Amazed that she would be carrying such a weapon, Kyoji looks closer and is appalled that it is not actually a steel pipe, but it actually has two barrels and it's a shotgun. It's a gun of the shoddy kind. It's not one of those sleek handguns that's been seen in the movies. It's a double-barreled, full-on shotgun. The stock and most of the barrels have been sawed off for easier concealment, making it appear even more terrifyingly brutal. What? A 12-gauge shotgun. Ryoko replies blandly, as though naming a brand of cigarettes. I don't have a permit for it, and cutting it down like this is also illegal. So, great. Best sentence ever. Any other questions? What are you planning to do with it? I don't know. Probably kill somebody. That's what guns are made for. Ryoko looks over her shoulder and shows Kyoji her most chilling smile yet. When I first learned that Ougai was doing, I was a model citizen. I'd never even gotten a ticket. Why is she holding a shotgun like that? It looks like her wrist is broken. A woman whom Kyoji had thought was just a normal doctor waves her sawed-off shotgun menacingly as she continues, her tone sharp yet self-deprecating. If I'd had this back then, I probably wouldn't have been able to kill Ougai. I would've. He died. If I had, you kids might not have been dragged into this disaster. I feel bad about that, really. You should have just always carried sawed-off shotguns with you. It's a good measure. Kyoji listens in silence, helpless to do anything but watch as understanding moves farther and farther out of his grasp. In other words, everything I do from now on is to clean up this mess that you and your friends have stepped into. Remember that. Don't ask any unnecessary questions. You capiche? Kyoji's only choice is to nod weakly in response. With the light in her left hand and the shotgun in her right, Ryoko walks up to the door and takes a deep breath. And then she kicks in the door. putting her full weight behind the blow. Cool. There's a skeleton in the background there. With this, I knew it! Instead of a basement, it is a well scientist. A well-mad scientist. He's gonna make some sort of green goop, isn't he? I hope so. With disappointingly feeble sound, the door breaks out of its hinges and walls into the room. In the beam of Ryoko's light, dust billows into the air like white smoke. The room is large, probably at least 35 square meters in size. Kyoji's first impression is of an operating theater that was turned into a storage room. The tiled floor is set with drainage grates, and there is no mistaking the movable operating table sitting in the middle of the room. One of the walls is covered with cabinets containing enamelware and drugs, while against the opposite wall stands a writing desk and bookshelves. This is the infirmary from Corpse Party. Even Kyoji can recognize that much. The mysterious object cluttering the tables and shelves, however, there is beyond the comprehension. Mirrors delicately engraved the complex patterns, grotesque statues, and masks that have just been left behind by a race of savages. Savage. Tapestries woven in nauseating arrays of color, a crystal ball the size of an infant's head. They're probably all antiques, but there's one thing that they definitely have in common. Every one of them is so loathsome and foul that Kyoji feels sick just looking at it. It's as though they were designed for the sole sinister purpose of immortalizing their creators' hatred of the world. That was a car. It is very loud. Rare-looking books of some sort where Ougai's Tokyo home are piled in here. At one of the shelves are stacks of scrolls that look to be made of some kind of sheepskin or papyrus. Whatever it is, it's not paper. Finally, there are some indecipherable shock patterns and symbols filling every available space in the walls. Even the two sliding blackboards are completely covered in strange, unreadable scribblings. Just looking at them is making me dizzy. Now, if Saya was made some sort of alien creature from some sort of different planet made to inhabit the world, then what is Mr. Ougai? Is he like the father of such an alien beast's conquering thing? Maybe. Don't look, you'll go insane. Listen, don't move, and whatever you do, don't touch anything you'll contaminate it with cooties. Even if something draws your attention, don't look at it. If you see something that feels wrong, stare at your shoes right away. Got it? Yes, I think. Ryoko switches from the floodlight to the fluorescent lamp, then sets the light on a nearby table where it can illuminate the whole room. She then holsters her shotgun, only to pull out an even more confusing set of tools. A digital camera and a can of spray paint. She gives the spray can in the left hand a good shake. A good old shaking is always good. Switches the camera in the right hand on and steps into the room while looking at the camera's side-mounted screen. After methodically recording the symbols on the walls and blackboard, she immediately begins to cover them in layers of black spray paint. Doctor? What are you doing? Lesson 1. Never look at strange designs or read anything written in unusual language like Latin. Use a camera and record them for later examination. Then use paint or something to destroy the real thing. That doesn't make much sense, but I hope it will make sense later. Now that she mentions it, Kyoji realizes that she's only looking at the screen of her camera, and even then only in short glimpses, and never directly at any of the drawings. He understands what she's saying, but it still doesn't. Yep, I feel like Kyoji right now. Why do we have to? Now that you've come this far, you better shut up and listen for better goods. Things like crystal balls and mirrors are dangerous. Anything can happen if you break them, so it's best to cover them with a cloth or paint over them for the time being. Okay, there is some sort of weird mythological thing of magic going on. Kyoji begins to fear that this doctor might be even crazier than maybe. Despite the burst of energy he received from the vodka, Kyoji is still exhausted from having spent the night at the bottom of a well. and rightly so. The fear is affecting his body, making him dizzy and nauseous. Soon, the walls are covered in black paint, and the stale air is thick with the smell of turpentine. That should do it, Ryoko says with relief, and tosses the empty can aside and puts away her video camera. What happened to Ougai? Kyoji asks, supporting himself against a nearby table, all casual-like. Oh, he was never over there. Without stopping her examination of the papers on the writing table, Ryoko nonchalantly points to the Chinese-style screen standing in one corner of the room. He was there. Her clinical choice of tense makes the truth clearer than any words can. The urge to see for himself is irresistible. Kyoji staggers across the room to the screen, taking the utmost care not to look at the scaly octopus thing that is painted on it. He's going to die, I feel. I feel this is going to happen, isn't it? Let's find out. Behind the screen is a large, easy chair. Although he's never met the man before, Kyoji is fairly sure that this person sitting in it is Ougai Mashiko. Oh. Hi. You're dead. But why would she want to kill a dead person? Or did she not know you're dead? I don't know. You're dead now, though. Ougai's corpse must have shrunk significantly while drying in the sealed, undiscovered chamber. The skeleton is barely the size of a child's, with only the business suit hanging from the bones offering any hint of Ougai's former stature. His empty eye sockets and wide open jaw, which is closed in the picture, are filled with darkness. The same darkness that surrounded Kyoji at the bottom of the well. Compared to those gaping voids, the tiny hole in Ougai's right temple is almost demure. The small revolver he must have used to kill himself is still clenched in his dangling right hand. Next to Ryoko's shotgun, it probably would look like a child's toy. Ryoko must have noticed Ougai's corpse when she was spraying painting on the walls. Having gotten beyond surprised by now, Kyoji is instead impressed by Ryoko's ability to keep working next to a corpse without battling an eyelash. He wonders why he keeps meeting people who are totally insane. If it weren't for her, Kyoji reminds himself with a bitter smirk, he would have ended up joining this mummified corpse here, and no one would have ever known. Kyoji's vision suddenly dims, because he went to things he shouldn't have. He pushed himself too hard, and the spiritus vodka can't help him anymore. He collapses on the floor, unable to hang on to his slipping consciousness. And then last thing he sees are Ougai's muscular, gaping eye sockets staring at him. Well, that was some revelations. Some stuff happened and it was good. Ougai's dead. Who knows how long? Maybe there's something secret with that dead body. Maybe he's like some sort of, you know, he can possess his own body and make it do things. I don't know. She said she was going to kill him, but he was already dead. So maybe there's some sort of supernatural thing going on here. I hope so. Probably not. This is 2003. The creativity level is probably just that of a stereotypical scary movie. When he awakens, Kyoji finds himself lying on something dry and soft. A bed is a bed, he thinks to himself, even one that smells of mold and dust, and especially after sleeping too cold in cold mud all night. Okay, I have an idea. Well, when they came in here into this room, they realized that everything was not used for quite some time. And depending on whenever Mrs. Doctor started to wanting to kill Ougai, that could mean if she knows more about Ougai than we do. Maybe. There are no lights hanging from the ceiling, but the soft warm light of the lamp fills the room. A room devoid of furnishings, Kyoji realizes that he's in Ougai's cabin, in the ground floor bedroom that he'd searched before getting pushed into the well. And she is eating a ham sandwich while reading through his stuff, all casually. You're awake, I see. When Kyoji turns his head to face the voice, he sees Ryoko sitting in a chair against the wall, expressionless, studying at a pile of documents on the table in front of her. She must have brought them up for Ougai's underground lab. As she examines the papers by the light of the lamp, she occasionally takes bites of a sandwich she is in her free hand. Can you tell me what type of meat sandwich that is? I'm going to guess some sort of ham and lettuce sandwich. I see little bits of green lettuce there, and maybe that's ham. It could be fried bologna though. Who knows? If you feel up to eating, there's food here, just for you. Without looking up from the files, she gestures towards the convenience store bag sitting in the nightstand. How did I get here? He feels like Desmond the Moon Bear. Kyoji can't imagine that a woman, even one like Ryoko, could have climbed out of the well with him on her back. Sexist. There was a sealed door behind one of the bookshelves down there. Ryoko mutters as though talking to herself. Taking care not to let her expression interfere with her reading or eating, she continues. It was a pain to break open, but it led to the boiler room underneath the cabin. The other side had been hidden with a thin layer of mortar. He probably sealed it after bringing all his equipment into the secret lab. Then he used the well to get in and out. Pretty thorough. Was there really something in there that he needed to hide so badly? There used to be. This is the last of it. Having finished her sandwich, Ryoko picks up some unsorted papers with her free hand and waves them in the air. Not all scholars want to get on a stage at a symposium and show off the research of the world, you know. There's also nutcases who get their kicks by learning the secrets no one else knows, and by being buried in those secrets in the hidden tomes that no one will ever find. Huh. Is that secret Saya? Maybe no, hey look, I was gonna say Fuminori and the word Fuminori popped up before my very eyes, so I'm probably gonna read this passage and learn something. Kyoji still hasn't the slightest idea what Ougai's secret might have been. From what Ryoko said in that tunnel, however, he can guess that whatever it is has something to do with Fuminori. Yes. Fuminori. What happened to him? Kyoji asks desperately, no longer caring who gets answers from. What does Fuminori have to do with that dead body down there? Just what is it you're after? That's what I'm trying to find out. Ryoko replies coldly, as though Kyoji's concerns are none of hers. Saisaka-kun told me that you have been asked to find Ougai by one of Ougai's relatives. Yes, he told me that exact same thing. Oh, well, at least that's consistent. She flipped. Ryoko pulls several sheets of loose-leaf paper from a different file. The truth is that Ougai has no relatives. I thought that, oh dear. Whoa. What about Saya? Saya's an outlier. Maybe she lied. Maybe she did. I thought that Saisaka-kun was simply lying. However, there was another possibility I should have considered. He might have been tricked by someone claiming to be Ougai's Yes. Saya is a liar. I knew it all along. Saya is one bad case. Wow. Ryoko pauses and looks sidelong to Kyoji. Does the oh, yes it does. It rings all kinds of bells. I am being wrong. Saya. No, who is that? Who or what is the question, but the more I read, the less I understand. She sighs bitterly, then returns her attention to the papers in her hand. All I can say for sure is that it appears to have been the focus of Ougai's research. If Saisaka-kun has become deeply involved with whatever Saya is, then he's already past the point of no return. The icy certainty in Ryoko's voice sends a chill down Kyoji's spine. If so, what will you do to him? With him? He has to ask, even though he already knows the answer. It's like I said, Ryoko replies, smirking at the tension in Kyoji's voice. I have no idea how many times I've wished that I had a gun with me 1 year ago. So it was 1 year in total that he died. Somewhere in between them. I won't make the same mistake twice. If I go to the police, everything will be over. Ryoko doesn't respond, as though she didn't even hear what Kyoji had just said. Fuminori tried to kill me. He's a bad case. If I press charges, he'll be arrested and... Ryoko cuts him off harshly. You have witnesses? Proof? What motive did Sasaki-kun have to kill you? He just wanted you out of the way because he doesn't like people. Because he only likes Saya. And I guess now he likes, you know, yo. I guess. If in some sort of weird way. In a weird way, he likes yo. I guess. If you take it that way. I don't know how I feel about that still. I still have I think I have bad feelings. I have bad feelings about that situation. Yes. 100% bad feelings. Yes. I finally have figured out my feelings for that situation. It is bad. You know, Tono-kun, you're completely misunderstanding what police do. Their job isn't to fight for justice, nor even keep the people safe. What are you saying? Finding reasonable explanations for unreasonable events. That's what the police are for. And also catching those pesky little speeders. They will always choose to believe the simplest, most logical explanation. It's just like how water always flows downhill. They aren't always interested in the truth. They don't know or care that the truth is often stranger than fiction. Surely they're not all like that. I won't know until I try. Exactly, Ryoko states, as she pulls another sandwich out of the bag. That's the problem. She hasn't spared Kyoji a second glance since looking at him earlier. Even while talking, her attention is always focused on the papers in front of her. Let's say you accuse your friend of going crazy and pushing you into a well. In addition to your statement, the police will consider two alternative versions of the truth. Maybe you're making it up to all frame your friend. Even simpler, the shock of having fallen into a well by accident has you doubting your friend. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I fell into a well. It's my friend's fault. I blame him. These three possibilities are raced to see which one comes out the most convincing evidence. No one knows which one will be the winner. Are you willing to bet everything? All or nothing. You have on your own truth. Kyoji has no response. Can you really logically explain the events that led Fuminori to do what he did? How can he convince everyone else when he doesn't even understand it himself? And here's the biggest problem. It's gigantic, Ryoko says calmly, cutting into Kyoji's thoughts. While you're raising heck with the police, we're gonna lose our chance to corner Sasaki-kun forever. If he sees trouble coming, he will go to hiding and to avoiding getting caught, and then he'll be back to square one. She pauses to take a bite of her sandwich before continuing. Just like how I let Ougai get away. A heavy silence falls upon them, with only the soft rustle of the pages turning in Ryoko's hands marking the passage of time. Please tell me, Doctor, Kyoji says, his hushed voice breaking through the quiet. What is so unforgivable that you're unwilling to take justice into your own hands? Because what exactly did Ougai do in that room down there? Once again, Ryoko coolly ignores Kyoji's question. This time, however, Kyoji doesn't look down or back down. He keeps staring at her relentlessly as she continues to silently immerse herself in the documents. After some time, Ryoko rearranges the papers in her hands and sets them aside, as though having to come to some sort of conclusion. She then finally turns her whole body towards Kyoji. Listen, Tono-kun. Now that she's finally facing him, Ryoko affixes Kyoji with a firm stare that belies the calmness of her voice. Belize. You should back out of this now. Go relax at the onsen, somewhere in Suwaniko. And don't return to Tokyo until you're ready to forget all of this. Forget? After disbelievingly repeating Ryoko's command, Kyoji feels quiet, yet irrepressible anger rising within him. Umi was my girlfriend and Fuminori is my best friend. You're telling me to forget about them? Yes. Yeah, forget about them, Ryoko replies, coolly, rebuffing Kyoji's anger. This isn't a suggestion, it's a warning. You could die. Whatever the relationship you might have been, that is all over now. You'll never see them again, I guarantee it. But what about Tsukaba? Kyoju practically shouts. What'll happen to her? She was begging for me to help on her phone. Something terrible is happening to her somewhere. Well, you're a little bit too late. She turned into a dog slave animal with a collar. And how many hours ago was that? A day. Do you know how much time passed since I saved you? How much longer do you think you could have lasted out there if it hadn't? She shakes her head, then coldly says, It's too late. She's already dead. Well, kind of. You shouldn't expect everyone to be as lucky as you. Kyoji growls, unable to suppress his anger. If you'd found me dead in that well, you wouldn't have thought anything of it, would you? I was prepared for that, of course, Ryoko says with a shrug, unfazed by Kyoji's ire. I hardly expected to find you alive. Once again, Kyoji has been made painfully aware of the futility of arguing with this woman. She is stone cold, but I like it. No matter how hard she tries, you'll never be able to make her feel shame or reform her ways. It's meaningless to debate with someone whose morals are fundamentally different. Kyoji gets out of the bed and stands on his shaky legs. How long have I been asleep? About half a day. I envy your ability to recover from exhaustion so quickly. It's a privilege of the young, so enjoy while it lasts. Don't die, please. Kyoji looks at his watch and sees that it's 4 AM, which means that it was already early evening when Ryoko rescued him. He can't believe that he survived sitting in that well for almost 2 days. Now that the gaps in his memory have been filled in and his sense of time has returned, he realizes that it's already Sunday morning. Ryoko's right. A lot of time has passed since he spoke to Yo on Saturday. Kyoji grabs a sports drink and 2 jelly nutritional snacks from the pack of food that Ryoko bought, and then heads for the door. He's still unsteady on his feet, but he can manage through the force of will. Just make sure. Mind telling me where you're going? Tokyo. Kyoji replies brusquely, his tone no less hard than Ryoko's. Tsukaba might be still alive. I'm going to go save her. You just don't listen, do you? I could say the same to you. Kyoji is expecting Ryoko to watch over him, watch him go with that cold mocking smile of hers. Instead, however, she sighs heavily and rests her jaw in her hands. Can't you wait a little longer? Somewhere in here, she thrust her chin at the mountain of papers in front of her. Huh, so she's accepting this. I am happy. We gotta get in here. Her, Kyoji, team up. It is the answer to what this thing Ougai calls Saya is. I think that we should wait until I figure that out and come up with a plan to defeat it. Well, I don't think there's a way to defeat it unless you sneak up on it. It's kind of like the Grudge, but with succubus and mixed with some sort of killing machine. It's all those put into one character. So you're also with the mind controlling aspect. I forgot about that. Actually, it's not mind controlling, it's mind reforming. However that works. I'm sure that would be cool technology for the future to handle, if it can handle it. You should think that, since you're already convinced that Tsukaba is dead. In truth, Kyoji is extremely uneasy about going alone. It's dangerous to go alone. Take her. He knows, however, that if he did have Ryoko's help, she would surely bring about the worst possible end. He mustn't depend on her. Tano-kun, Ryoko calls just as Kyoji opens the door and steps into the hallway. You were almost killed once, don't let it happen again. She picks up something that was lying next to her pile of documents and casually tosses it to Kyoji. When Kyoji catches it, he feels a solid weight filled with a shotgun. What's revolver? This is. Kyoji stares at the menacing shape of cold steel. It's a revolver. The one that was clenching Ougai's skeletal fist. It has 4 more shots. There's no safety, so you just need to pull the trigger to fire. Where and how to use it is up to you. If Kyoji were his usual cautious self, he probably wouldn't hesitate to reject the dangerous offering. But you need it. You need the gun. It's dangerous to go without it. Take the gun. The only end the gun can decisively bring is absolute ruin. He doesn't intend to go back to Tokyo to fight a losing war. However, without even knowing it, Kyoji has already set foot in the Ryoko's world. Choosing instinct over reason, he accepts a small but deadly weapon and stuffs it into his pocket. There is no question that Kyoji intends to save Yo and bring Fuminori to answer for his sins. In the back of his mind, however, he clearly hears the footsteps of destruction approaching.